that isn't really counted on in a lot of major leftist groups are disabled comrades. And I feel like they offer a lot of potential support that is untapped, that generally is untapped, because they just because they can't get out into like for boots on the ground activity, or just because they can't and I'm not saying this for like physically, I'm talking about like those who are also like neurodivergent, or who have like social anxiety disorders, like the whole gamut. I'm saying whatever it is that makes it so that you can't participate in offline sort of activism that is usually what is held against them, which is bullshit. But so it's like so how do we we are going to need to allow more disabled comrades into these spaces and accommodate them. So what kind of for you, Jacob, does the SA have things in place for that? Like, have you guys, do you see that as what's your perspective on that?
Yeah, that's a great question. We've recruited some really good new disabled comrades recently, and we actually have more disabled people in our branch than we ever have. And also, one of our leaders is also immunocompromised, and so is at quite a great risk during this pandemic as well. So this is something that I've had to kind of had to play it by ear a little bit. In a way, it's been kind of favorable conditions, because like one of these newer people is like probably not someone who could go like on a protest march or something, but she's like a champion phone banker. She absolutely crushed some phone banking stuff that I gave her, and I was like pretty impressed. So yeah, I definitely think everybody's got talents, and if you're in leadership, it's incumbent upon you to find out how people's skills and abilities can be utilized effectively to advance your political agenda. And I think I've never done any like specific training related to it. I'm not super informed about like specific like disability studies theories either. It's definitely one of many weak points. There is so much theory, and I have just read so little of it compared to what I wish I knew. But yeah, I mean, I think, just on like a person to person level, I'm going to come back to my cheesy point from earlier, like empathy is very key. I am in leadership in this organization. I don't know if I ever said that, but yeah, I'm like a local leader. And so I'm often the one giving people assignments. I never want to be like a taskmaster. I never want to be like a boss, first of all, because I literally can't. Like, I don't have the ability to just tell people. I am not measuring people's output on a spreadsheet of like surplus value that I'm stealing from them. What I'm trying to do is get people active and foster their political development and help them, do what they want to do, really, which is, hopefully also convince them to want to, change the world in a certain way, to believe in, the cause of socialism that's worth fighting for, and that kind of thing. So that helps, But yeah, I mean, I think I try not to get down on people if someone has like a chronic condition that flares up, like, okay, I'm just going to like do a little bit more work. I'm going to take on some of their stuff, or I'm going to be ready to like hand it off, but then I'm going to, hand them more responsibility as soon as they're better. And I'm going to, I'm not going to ask someone to go to a march if they're not, if they don't want to march, or if they can't march, but if they're good at phone banking, I'm going to give them more phone banking. And I think, a lot of that also just comes down to like basic respect, and also just like political persuasiveness. This is a time when rational arguments do work, which is when you're talking to someone who's already sympathetic to you, and you're trying to explain exactly why you want to do a certain thing, what its value is strategically, or why it's important. Sell them on, the importance of the work that you're doing. And then also you listen with empathy to like, what are you good at? What do you like about yourself? What are your abilities that you're proud of that you want to bring to this organization? They will tell you. They will tell you what they're good at. All you have to do is listen. I think, a neoliberal boss would never do that, because they are measuring on a goddamn spreadsheet, and they want everybody to be a drone and act the same and do the particular thing at work that they have determined generates the most profit. And I'm lucky I don't have to do that. I'm able to actually figure out what people's genuine talents and skills are. And I think at this point, have enough experience that I'm pretty confident in my ability to put them to use. That's also something that comes with time, figuring out what to do with your people. But that's not a question that goes away, whether someone is disabled or not. Everyone has their sets of strengths and weaknesses, their passions and their dislikes. And it's always an issue of just how do you put all that together from your different individuals into a functional group.
Yeah, that was a great answer.
Leslie or Trekkie, what are y'all takes?
I'd like Leslie to go.
Thank you. Well, my main response is I think this whole COVID thing has hopefully radicalized a lot more disabled people like myself. I know that's really what pushed me to make my first video, was like, I just see this huge I mean, it's amazing that people are like, oh, this will only kill the disabled and the old. Like, that's totally fine.
It's also totally false.
Yeah, and it's also totally false. It's exactly. So it's like people are here thinking that, one, eugenics is valid, and thinking that, two, it's desirable. Like, come on.
Yeah, that's
right?
fucked up. That's some literal fucking, like, I mean, that's honestly like how that's some Nazi shit. Like, that is legit. That is literal, like, some Nazi shit to do. Like, where it's just like, we start figuring out who we can sacrifice first. And like
the economy,
and like make sure that and then we start going through and like being like, okay, well hey, you remember how last time we said it was the elderly and the disabled? Well, now it's anybody who's obese,
right,
and then it's like then now it's anybody with fucking with too much melanin. Yeah, so it's like that.
Yeah, no, it is, and it's terrifying as a disabled person to see this being so. I mean, it's not just fascists, it's liberals, it's people who consider themselves woke, it's people still have this bias that, they wouldn't have disabled kids, just little things like that, and in the society, that's kind of the next video I'm rolling around in my head is, elective abortions, choosing to abort children who you find are disabled in the womb. Because, it's just such a strong bias. And I think a thing that is taboo in workplaces is not only just asking people's strengths, but making sure that they're comfortable expressing their weaknesses. Like,
absolutely.
It's very hard for me to tell people, like, I mean, Trekkie knows, because I talked to them a little bit about, like, what I can and can't do. And I was very apologetic when I couldn't make it to the Wednesday stream, and I kept apologizing for one thing and another. And it's like reflexive to just constantly feel so defensive and be like, okay, I'm so sorry that I can't do this thing. I'm sorry I can't type right now because my hands hurt, things like that you just try to hide a lot in any workplace. So if you can foster an environment where it's okay to talk about your weaknesses, I think that's incredibly important.
Oh yeah, that's a really good angle. I didn't even think about that. I mean, because it's like one of those things where it's just like like people on the left usually are kind of, from at least in my anecdotal experience, that people are understanding, right? Where it's just like, oh hey, like I couldn't do X, Y, or Z, or what have you. But there is still like you said, like a lot of apology, like okay. Everything that you said, and there is kind of like still like animosity even within the left if somebody isn't perceived as pulling their weight, right? Like, and that's still pretty fucked up. You know what I mean? Because it's just like we're supposed to, we need to be inclusive of everybody, in every aspect. You know what I'm saying? So Trekkie, do you so I want to do a handoff. Are you comfortable with continuing on the conversation on EJ's side?
EJ is actually going to be kicking the panel off, but if you guys want, we can go into the stream voice chat and continue this while EJ interviews a nurse. Anyone who wants to continue the discussion, that is.
Oh shit! I didn't realize that EJ was interviewing somebody.
Yeah, we
Okay,
could toss
all right.
EJ. I'm cool with that.
That's cool.
I'm down to just keep chatting with you folks. Yeah.
Okay,
Awesome.
all right. So all right. So I'm gonna do the. So EJ, can you in some fashion let me know that you're ready for the handoff?
Yeah. Okay, everyone.
Okay, ready?
In my stream, there's not going to be any disruption, so don't worry.
All right. Yeah. All right, y'all.
Jackie, how do we get to your stream?
How do we?
All you need to do is go into the Mayday Stream Discord and click on go into the voice channel and click on General. That's all you need to do.
Okay, cool.
So can Trekkie, can you post an invite to the Discord into the private chat by chance?
Sure.
Because
Yeah, I'm not on your
Chica-
Discord or anything. Maybe it's not worth the hassle. It's not even on my phone, actually. It might not be worth the hassle for me.
Okay, fair enough.
Well, I just put an
Thank you
invite
very
into
much,
the
though.
chat.
Yeah, no, hey, Jacob, thanks for coming on and chit chatting with us. You know,
I'd love to do this again sometime if you want.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I mean, hey, I'm always, you know, if there's one thing about being a content creator, I'm always looking for people that like to talk because it makes my job easier. So, you know.
Totally.
All right. Seth, anyone have any last words before I kick this off to EJ?
Yeah, I'll head out of here too. You guys can follow me on Twitter at Sappa if you want. I post leftist dumb things. So
they're funny. They're funny. Good quality memes. Okay, I will attest to that. And I've been Camazotz. I've been your host for these past 2 hours. You can follow me at twitch.tv /Camazotz_alter. That's where I do a lot of my shit. Please give me a follow. I don't care if you subscribe. I don't give a shit about that. I just want to get the message out that I use to promote. So I don't necessarily want your money. I want your eyeballs. Adios, comrades. Solidaridad por vida. Enjoy EJ now. I'm going to end my broadcast in 3, 2, 1.
If you guys want to hear more of a conversation with me and Leslie, please head over to my Twitch, which is twitch.tv/Trekkie69.
Fantastic.
all right.
Adios.
You're muted, EJ. You muted. You no sound. Okay, glad you caught on that. Hey, there you
I'm
are.
so sad right now. I'm very sad. Everything failed.
I was trying to hit you up in every chat I
Everything
could.
failed. I even did a whole spiel about feeding America and how 1 in 7 Americans
Oh.
before the pandemic were relying on food banks, and now it's probably far worse. But we don't even know because
I want you to go through it
overwhelmed.
all verbatim. I
They
don't want
can't
you to
even
miss a
gather
single
statistics.
word.
So you should donate to Feeding America, and I'll post a link in the chat now. I'm so freaking sad right now. I think we also dumped
Aw.
everybody out of all the different Gen Strike chats, but that's okay. You know why? Because we're in the final stretch. We got 2 hours left. I'm sailing to the finish line. Are you going to be with us till the end, Breadbeard?
Yeah, I'm down to not clown around about.
And you know what's even
Strikes.
more exciting than you're clowning around? You're non-clowning around.
That's
You know
not an
what's even more
anti-juggler
exciting than
message.
We stand juggalos here and furries, the front lines of Antifa, as far as I'm concerned, in many ways. Why don't you tell us about this amazing person we're going to be talking to, this nurse who's been kind of on the front
Yes.
lines in our hometown,
yes,
our home
Nurse
state of
Mark.
South Carolina.
A real comrade, someone who has been on the front lines. I have a lot of problems with the hero message that we've been sending out to medical workers and frontline workers and essential workers, because it's being used as a scapegoat for actually giving them what they need. But I do still think, yes, they are heroes, especially the medical workers. They're literally saving lives. And I don't want to.
Here's what I would put it: they are heroes, but that's not like payment or an excuse to like let them die. Like there's this kind of like death cult around heroes in the USA, or I don't know what it is. It's like because they also say it's like the freaking was it Whole Foods? I think Whole Foods gave all the employees T-shirts that said "Hardcore Heroes" instead of giving them masks and protective equipment.
Like that would have been
That's
cheaper
disgusting.
to give them at least the
Well,
masks.
It's disgusting.
but it's not
Okay,
as
I'm
good
sorry.
PR.
I had to express my disgust there.
No.
But go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, no, the only thing I was going to say is I don't want to give away too much. I want to let them speak for themselves.
Well, you
so-
got frozen in the most wonderful position. You look so good
I'm frozen?
right now, but you're frozen though.
I'm not moving.
Am I
No?
frozen? Maybe
I think you're frozen.
That's what
I
I would
look.
feel like. Well, who knows? Okay.
I don't know.
I'm sorry. Keep talking.
The class
Who knows?
could
We'll
say.
find out. This is going great. Okay.
Well, no, I think we should just go ahead and bring them on and let them speak
Okay.
for themselves.
I don't see them in the standby room though.
Oh no. Okay, let me check on that. I thought they were down there. Maybe check on them.
If you're watching this on YouTube, by the way, you should probably head over to twitch.tv/genstrike if you want to watch uninterrupted. If the stream goes down on YouTube, it's because a lot of fascists have been false flagging us, and we will get the stream immediately back up. It's a waste of their time. I don't know why they keep doing it, but if you don't want to have any interruption whatsoever, just go over to twitch.tv/genstrike2020. I don't recommend YouTube for streaming anymore because it's so easy for the fascists to just false flag them down. So
It
just
is
let
a
me
shame, or at least anyone out there. If you don't have plans of going affiliate or partner, just do them both. So you got a backup.
I do them both.
Yeah.
Mostly because my YouTube channel audience refuses to go to Twitch, even though I keep asking them to do that. And it's not like, I don't really care. I hate both platforms because they're both evil and corporate, but it's just like for streaming, Twitch is just a better platform. But anyway, until I can finally eventually convince them to come over to Twitch, I got to keep the YouTube up.
Well, I need it because I just need the watch hours on YouTube, people. Sorry.
Right,
So,
right.
well,
That's a good,
watch
by the
my
way,
stuff.
that's a good little scam. If you want to get watch hours up for monetization, you should definitely do some live streaming just to get your watch
I'm
hours up.
restreaming this on my
Mark is-
channel right now.
Mark is in the green room, just making sure that everything seems
Oh, yeah.
set up. I assume Mark's ready. Okay, yeah, I see Mark's face. Okay, here we go. Let's go. Hello, Mark. Welcome to the GenStrike 2020 Solidarity stream. How are you doing?
Uh-oh. Did we lose you?
Uh-oh.
How are you guys?
Oh, there you are.
Great. No, I hear you
Hey.
coming through.
No?
No, we got
I hear
you.
you.
Okay.
Do
Awesome.
you hear us?
I hear you guys fine. Am I
No, you're good.
Okay,
with
I
that.
think there's just
Am I off?
there's a delay. There's just a delay, so we'll just have to be we'll be talking over each other a little bit, but we'll do our best to not do
We
that.
can pretend we're talking from space. and
Yeah,
there's
there
a
we go.
delay.
Sorry, I think it's my crap internet. Anyway,
Well, yeah, over here in developing countries, our internet usually is a lot better than the USA.
Yeah, that's true.
I swear, like almost every interview where there's been like a technical, like a delay or an internet difficulty, it's been with people in the USA.
Yeah,
it's almost like we don't have it all figured out. Interesting.
almost. It's starting to feel that way, isn't it? I bet it's really feeling it. So I'm very curious. I guess just to jump right in, because I've been outside of the USA the whole time throughout this entire pandemic. So I'm always
Lucky
asking
you.
people like, yeah, right. I'm asking people, what does it feel like to be there right now in various parts of the USA? But you're the first healthcare worker I've talked to, like kind of like face to face like this. So can you just let us know, like, without revealing, any details you don't want to reveal, but just let us know, like, what's the atmosphere like? What does it feel like right now? What are some of the things that you've been going through just in a general sense since this started?
Yeah. So yeah, I work in a hospital, in an emergency room. Won't say where. And it's we come in every day. We get our temperatures taken. We get our mask. They ask us if we've been out of the country, if we've been out of the state, and send us on our way. And that's our side of it. And then on the patient side, while we don't get a lot of it's kind of slow, at least area. Like the patients we're getting are sicker, and like a lot of people are pretty scared about the COVID-19 stuff. They come in getting tested, and the symptoms are so like flu and cold like. People have coughs, sore throat. Coming and getting tested.
How do they? I'm sorry. What?
No, go ahead.
I just wanted to ask, because I know tests are limited. How do they do that? If someone just comes in and says, I think I might have it, do you give them a test, or do they have to pass preliminaries or get on a waiting list?
I haven't had. So at least for where I work, I haven't seen any kind of test limitations. We do have certain criteria as far as like who can get tested. Usually there has to be some kind of symptoms. You can't just come in like fully healthy and say, I'd like the COVID test. But so some sort of symptoms or contact with someone else who has tested positive. But I haven't seen us not be able to test somebody. So I think we're
That's good, at
pretty
least.
lucky in that regard. I don't live in New York, by the way, so
yeah,
just to put it that way.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
So have you seen or any kinds of like shortages or any kind of like as far as the supplies? Because I've heard, I don't know if I talked to another nurse in a meeting. This was kind of an offline thing. Actually, my brain is not quite fired up yet. I just woke up, but this was actually a nurse's wife, and she was saying that I'm not sure where they were. I think they were like in Michigan or something where it was a little bit worse than where you are. But the basically they were saying that like there were shortages of other drugs, like for instance morphine and things like that weren't necessarily related directly to COVID-19. Has it been having any kind of impact on your general supply lines or anything like that, or is it more or less okay?
So we do have a bit of PPE shortages going on. As far as for us, we do still have masks. Not really comfortable with the quality of them. We started off with these, and I'm not talking about N95s, just regular face masks that we get every day that we give to every patient. We've got these new ones that just don't. I don't know. They don't seem to fit as well. You've got a lot of air flowing through the top part. It doesn't really cinch on the nose, and that's been discouraging. I'm trying to think. As far as medications, I can't really recall any shortages right now. Yeah, not as far as treatment shortages.
Can you? We're going to be very careful not to reveal like where you work and stuff. But can you say, do you work at a private hospital or a public funded hospital?
Yeah, it's a private hospital.
Okay.
It's a big conglomerate now.
Okay.
Right. Do you feel like
many hospitals in different states now? So.
Oh. Okay.
Do you feel like that has the, we're all talking right now about a lot of things like worker strikes and tenant strikes and all that kind of stuff that has to do with like a lot of the ways that the way we would argue that it has a lot to do with like wealthy elite people being negligent right now with the resources that they have. Do you feel like the fact that it's a private hospital has had any kind of like impact on the situation, or do you think it's kind of the same as it would be if it were in like any kind of a government funded hospital, or
I think I've seen things change a lot over the past few years. I remember right before
prior to the pandemic.
Yeah, prior to the pandemic, prior to the hospital becoming more of a private corporatized healthcare system. I recall, and again, trying to be careful as far as identity goes, but I recall an incident right before our hospital went private where CEOs were getting very large bonuses while staff members were getting laid off. Now, as far as I could tell, we don't really have access to like CEO bonus numbers and things like that. It's frustrating. And like even now, like we're doing massive furloughs. Right before the pandemic, a lot of people were laid off. I work 2 jobs in the hospital system. My second job I'm furloughed on. And the hospital uses the convenient reasoning that there's not enough elective surgeries going on because of the pandemic.
Yeah, I've heard that
That's
before.
I've heard that from a few sources.
Ridiculous.
There are hospitals that are going to shut down now because they can't make a profit because they're not doing the elective surgery. I've heard that's been going on. That's pretty distressing. So,
and especially in a time when we need more people, you're getting rid of people because you can't make a profit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, shutting down a hospital right now is absurd. I mean, do you think that do you think that we should be ending the shelter in place orders and opening up the economy right now?
Oh man. All right. So, where do I start with that? I understand.
I'm trying to ask it in a neutral way.
Where I live, no, I don't trust the people around me. And I only say that because I work in a hospital and I see how they, I don't know, I see a lot of sick people. So it's very hard for me to feel comfortable saying, okay, let's go out and, resume normal life when I'm still seeing COVID patients in the emergency room every day.
Yeah.
Multiple.
Are people coming in like off the streets with COVID-19? Like this, it's hard for me to wrap my head around this because the situation here in Vietnam is so different. I mean, where are people getting the virus? Like, do we have an idea of what kind of environments they're getting the disease in and how it's being spread? Is it mostly like people in like retirement centers and that sort of thing, or is it like, are there people like out on the streets getting it like at their local, restaurant or whatever? Like, how do you do you have any insight into that? Because it's hard for me to conceptualize.
So as far as I know, at least in my state, a lot of elderly deaths have occurred with COVID-19.
Mm-hmm.
As far as where they're getting it, let's see. I'm trying to think of like direct contact. I got it. I'll put that out there. I got it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Probably pretty good idea to note that.
Mm-hmm.
And just I want to cycle back real quick before I answer that question about the corporatization of the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
I had a lot of problems with that because when I had it, we had a system in place where we would put down like our name, our phone number, whenever we'd go into a potential COVID positive patient room. And they were supposed to notify us if we had any kind of contact with somebody so that we could get tested. I was never notified of anything, though I did go in many COVID positive rooms before or COVID positive or COVID rule out rooms before getting diagnosed. So the hospital can now very conveniently say that no one in my hospital system has contracted COVID-19 from work.
Yeah, so
And
basically, because you told me about this before, so basically
yeah.
you contracted the virus,
Yeah.
working on the front lines, saving people's lives, and doing not only saving people's lives and doing that duty, but even as far as like the hospital, your boss is concerned, you're doing your job,
Mhm.
making them money, or doing what they want,
Mhm.
and so it's like workman's compensation, basically. If nothing else, even outside of the fact that you're just saving lives, and that's good enough by far. So you contracted this illness, and then your hospital decided not to correct me if I get this wrong, decided not to write that you had it because they wanted to keep their numbers looking good for staff. And that had direct impact on your ability to get coverage.
Yep, pretty much. So basically, I'll go through it real quick. I had symptoms. I got checked out. I got a test done. Luckily, I like I said, I'm very fortunate that I was able to not have trouble getting testing. Then went home to quarantine. A week later, I got my results back. They were positive. I quarantined some more, and then was allowed to return to work. While I was out, the CEO of our hospital system contacted state legislators to kindly let them know that no workers in our hospital system have contracted the virus while at work.
Wow.
Now, I will say I cannot be positive 100% that I contracted it at work, but I feel like it's probably pretty.
Yeah, that seems like we're. Yeah.
I abided by the shelter in place kind of rules, and I didn't go out anywhere, and I worked amongst that population for a good few weeks.
Yeah, I mean, like if your job is to walk over hot coals all day and then you come home and find your feet are burned, there's a pretty good chance of where that happens.
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
Yeah. I feel like it's like, even if they report it as like, we're not sure where it came from, but it might have come from here. Like, I still feel like it needs to be reported. It still feels like dishonest to just say like 0 people got it. Like it. I mean, that's okay. I think we can all kind of agree that. That's kind of absurd.
By the way, like all this talk about how China's just completely like not reporting all their numbers. I lived in China for 5 years. I'm no fan of CCP. I'm sure they are hiding some numbers, but there's no way to hide a massive amount like that. It would never fly. But look on the other side. What makes you think America is not doing the same?
Yeah.
I mean, if nothing else, then by omission they are.
Yeah.
Real quick, like, when you got the disease, did you go through it? Was it pretty rough for you? Did you have a more mild case, or how was your experience with that?
I was lucky. I had a more mild case. It started off with a sore throat. I had a very dry cough, no fever. That's one of the things that everyone says, have a fever. They always, like I said, they check our temperatures, but I didn't have a fever. But it was just this really dry cough that, and some body aches, a little shortness of breath. It lasted about a week until I really felt like I was getting back to normal. So I was lucky, I'm thankful.
Yeah.
So.
What kind of efforts are being made to track it? Because I know in Vietnam it's been very important that like they've tracked every single case, like where they got it from, who they gave it to, et cetera, et cetera. So like that's a big part of like the Vietnam success story. Are they like trying to investigate where people are getting the disease and who they've given it to and that sort of thing where you are?
Not as far as not as far as I can see in my limited capacity in the emergency room.
Right.
I like I said, when you ask me, where people are getting it from, I honestly don't really know, because that just is not really part of the
part of your job.
What we ask patients when they come in, we ask if they've been out of state, out of country, or if they've been around anyone with the virus. But beyond that, that might be more of like an infection control.
Do they have? I was going to ask. Do they have like CDC agents or anything like that in the hospital that go and interview the people that you know of, or?
I haven't seen them. We have like an infection control officer that talks to like our state advisory board, and I actually got contacted by the state when I was positive. So there was that kind of connection, and they asked me, you know, had I been anywhere and stuff. So there was a little bit of that going on. So that was nice.
What type of is there any form of enforcement? Like when you contracted, could you have just gone walking and gone shopping without anyone stopping you?
That's
or
a good question.
I wasn't like on house arrest or anything. They just told me to go home and self quarantine.
Yeah, that's honestly to me kind of scary. Like I'm not looking for authoritarian, but in a situation of crisis, I want someone to make sure you weren't going around.
Is like you didn't have a fever, and we know that some people like will go like a week or so or more without any symptoms at all. So that's what really kind of freaks me out about just having people. I mean, do you think that there's any like, are there any like simple changes that they could make right now that would, you know, really make your life easier or protect people's health? Is there anything that you would recommend?
Let's see.
What would you like to see happen?
Well, honestly, as far as employees at the hospital, my time out with COVID-19 counted as an absence for me as far as my job. And I also wasn't really compensated for my time out. I have paid sick leave, paid time off. It's the same. It's in the same pool where I work. So they just took all of that. I didn't have enough to cover my time out. So my check was short for that pay period. And there was nothing in place to kind of take care of employees and staff members who are, you know, working amongst this stuff. And then when they get it, they're kind of on their own in a lot of ways.
Yeah, like your standard kind of contractual PTO and sick leave, that's like a separate thing. This is like, it's basically like workman's comp. It's like if you were working at a steel mill and you got your leg crushed and they're like, use your sick days. That's exactly what this is.
Yeah.
I just can't, it's hard for me to fathom the lack of foresight is what it feels like. Just like, let's treat the people who are like literally on the front lines here, you know, like almost like disposable, you know, like, or just, I don't know. It makes me upset.
There's the literal term disposable heroes. It usually refers to military, but it's the same thing here. Yeah.
Well, they're doing
You're
a lot of the
disposable.
same kind of,
You're treated that way. You're not disposable.
Yeah, it's like the same kind of they're starting to militarize almost the healthcare industry. It feels like, or not just healthcare, but like grocery store workers. They're starting to like kind of do this militarization, and I'm talking about in terms of like the cultural, I don't know, like propaganda surrounding it. And I think that's like it's like in lieu of pay, in lieu of in lieu of like dignity and respect and protection of your health. It's like, I don't know. That's what it feels like to me. But of course, I'm not in the USA right now. But that based on like the news and the media and the people I've talked to.
EJ, let's take a quick break. We got some people in the chat asking about what the donation you have. And
I'll
what the drive
show
is.
really quick. This is for Feeding America, which is a massive network of food banks. Food banks are really important right now in the USA. Even before the pandemic, 1 in 7 people in the USA had food instability and relied on food banks. Those numbers are likely much higher right now, but they're not even really, from what I understand, I did some research, they're not even tracking the changes right now because they're so overwhelmed with demand, and they don't have a lot of volunteers right now because a lot of their volunteers were like older and that sort of thing. So like a lot of people can't even volunteer at the food bank. So they need the money to make up for the gaps that they have. They need more resources. So if you're able to donate $1 or $2, I'll put the donation link in the chat. But yeah, the food banks are an important thing. They always have been. Right now, they're even more essential than ever. So I'll throw the link to that in the chats now.
Right now, the highest donor is $69. That's a pretty nice donation. I bet someone out there can do a 420 or a 1312.
You get us to the goal. If someone does a 420 right now, we will blaze in your honor because that will get us to our goal. So
yes. We know EJ does. There's a whole video about it.
Oh yeah, Breadbeard's most isn't that your most watched video?
For the first like 5 days.
First 24 hours. Right.
But no, even if like that would be a high number. I know, and most people watching right now could not afford that, but you could do a $4.20 or a $13.
Yeah.
Or any amount.
Or $1. Whatever you got.
Yeah, even $1. Matter of fact, did you put that in the chat? Because I want to share that on my chat because I'm restreaming this.
Got it. I'm doing it right now.
All right.
So all right. So
Sorry for that quick commercial break, Mark.
No,
Yeah, we
it's
had
good.
to take quick commercial
No
break.
problem.
Oh well, that's a question. So like as far as vulnerable people, I mean, like what are you seeing? And maybe even not necessarily as a as a healthcare worker, but just in general, like how is this affecting vulnerable people from what you can tell? Are you seeing homeless people coming in, or like do homeless people have access to healthcare where you are, or what what kind of things are you seeing as far as that goes?
Wow. Okay. So the homeless. Yeah, that's a complicated question. We do have a large homeless population in our area, and of course they do come to the emergency room. A lot of times there's homeless and mental health kind of commingle as far as in the emergency room. So we try and provide them resources if there's an addiction thing going on, or if it's a mental health thing. We try and get them into appropriate facilities where they treated and give them the help that we try and help out. As far as homelessness and the COVID-19 stuff, I honestly haven't experienced a whole lot of it. I'm not saying it's not happening. I'm sure it is, and that's got to be one of the most vulnerable populations imaginable, because they can't social distance. They they can't practice good hand hygiene. You don't have a home.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I also think most homeless have learned to shy away from hospitals for fear of getting arrested for anything or being kicked out anyways. And so that's a horrible thing
I worked
right
with
now.
some homeless shelters in like various like volunteer capacities before I left the USA, and like one of the biggest problems long before the pandemic was just the fact that a lot of the problems with homeless people is just invisible, whether they're
that's very true. A lot of times it's mental or emotional. What? Do you know? So what? Because I honestly have no clue about this.
Yeah.
What's like are the hospitals charging for the tests or for the treatment? How does that work? Or do you know?
I don't know. I have heard our hospital say that they would not be charging patients for COVID-19 treatments. I haven't gotten a bill yet. I wouldn't put it past them. But
do you have like a hospital stay for a certain amount of time, or are you just kind of in and out the same day?
It depends on the severity of the symptoms. If you have a severe respiratory involvement, you not necessarily even a ventilator, like you're hearing a lot about, then you might need to be hospitalized for a certain amount of time. We actually closed down or repurposed, I guess I should say, 2 of our other hospitals into COVID hospitals. So that's where we send patients to kind of get treated for COVID and have that kind of quarantine setting, or before they get discharged home, to try and kind of keep.
Because I think that's been a problem for forever, that people like homeless and no income people are they're like, well, why am I even going to go to the hospital? There's no way I can afford any type of treatment. And even if it is free, even if it's 100% free, they've been kind of trained into that mindset, and they're probably not even going to try going.
Is the testing free right now for anybody if they come, or do they have to have symptoms, or like how is that working? Like as far as the testing goes, is it totally available to anybody who asks? Do you have to have symptoms? Do you have to, if you've been exposed to it but don't have symptoms, can you get some testing, or how's that?
It is kind of on a case-by-case basis, to be honest, at the doctor's discretion, really. We do ask if they've been exposed, if they are having any symptoms. I have done many COVID tests on all kinds of patients from, a variety of symptoms. So it is kind of on the doctor's, case-by-case basis.
What is the test anyway? Is it just a blood sample, or?
No. It's a nasal swab.
Okay.
Not too dissimilar from a flu test. It's just it's a swab.
They got to go
and-
deep with that though, right? I saw a graphic. It looked a little.
Yeah.
Oh
I was
yeah.
like, I don't want to get COVID just because I don't want someone to stick that thing up that deep up my nose.
Yeah, it hurts, but it's worth it. So,
Yeah,
It's better than
yeah,
dying,
yeah.
yeah.
No, I'm not discouraging anyone from doing it. I'm just saying
Yeah,
it's a
yeah.
good reason to wear your mask and be careful and social
Yeah, to
distancing.
keep from ever needing that to needing
Yeah.
A little
to
extra
do that.
incentive.
absolutely.
So like, are they doing multiple? Because like in Vietnam, they do multiple tests because I don't know. I'm not an expert. You probably know a lot more about this than I do. I know you do. But the point is like, they say that like sometimes they'll have false negatives or false positives. So in Vietnam, they test everyone like 3 times at least.
That sounds great. That's not been my experience. In fact,
Okay,
I
I don't
would
know.
say, as someone that had COVID, I got tested the one time, and that was it. And
Right.
in order to return to work, I just had to have my 2 weeks quarantine and be symptom free for 3 days. There was no repeat testing. I asked about repeat testing, and they said they don't do repeat testing.
That
unless
seems.
there's symptoms.
I mean, maybe there is a logical reason for it with limited tests, but that just
Sure,
seems
yeah.
like, especially with medical workers, even if not for the general population,
Yeah.
like to check, make sure you're good,
Yeah.
before releasing back into the population.
Yeah. And if nothing else, my own peace of mind, like, hey, I'm not going to go back and, like I said, infect the population or
right.
be at risk to my coworkers.
Yeah.
So that was definitely concerning. I would, sounds like Vietnam's doing a good job. I would like to see that here. So
Yeah, they've got it contained now. They only had 270 cases and 0 deaths, and now it's completely contained. So, and they've
Nice.
only got 30 active cases left. So, there's actually one British pilot who came in. It's like the last kind of, if they can save this guy's life, then they'll be through the tunnel, because there's one British pilot who brought it in from the UK, and then he went to a St. Patrick's Day party and gave it to a bunch of people, and now he's been on the verge of death for like a month now. And like they have him on like a ton of machines and stuff, but it's like if this guy recovers, then they're pretty sure that they'll have had 0 deaths whatsoever. And if the guy dies, of course, all the headlines are going to be like, "Oh, this British guy died in Vietnam of COVID-19."
Yeah.
Of course, that's going to be the way that it's spun in the press. But anyway,
sure, yeah.
I'm digressing. Like I guess I don't know. Like, do you have any for the folks watching right now in the USA? What would you like to tell people? Like that, because not everybody has the opportunity to talk to healthcare workers all the time. Like what kind of things do you think they need to hear that perhaps you're not seeing enough coverage on the press, or that you just want people to understand?
So yeah, let me think.
But what's one thing you've seen people are not doing enough of? If you had to choose one thing that people aren't doing enough of that you would really like to see more of, we start from there.
At least from where I live, I like to see people stay home a bit longer.
Well, folks, like we live in the age of Netflix and internet, and like you can do it now. This would be a lot harder in like the 20s.
Sure.
Yeah.
But
You put on your,
When all you had were like cigarettes and the radio.
yeah.
I mean, that sounds like a good time too. But it's going to sound kind of vague, but I would just say practice empathy. I had COVID-19. My symptoms were very mild. That does not mean that COVID-19 can't kill someone else, and has killed many other people and will continue to do so. If you don't understand that just because you're healthy or maybe you get it and it's not so bad, doesn't mean that someone else will have the same reaction. So, when you see your state governments like opening things back up, I would just be cautious because it can get worse again. Just be mindful that there are other people that this is.
And I think it's something to note because it's even happening because Taiwan's pretty much cleared now. We haven't had a new domestic case in since the 13th, so over 2 weeks.
Awesome.
And I've noticed, and it's even affected me as much as I'm telling everyone to be careful and I'm being as careful as I can. It's even affected me to where sometimes I'm out and I'm like, I probably don't need my mask today. And I have to remind myself to put it on anyways.
Yeah.
So if your government does start to like open up the economy, you don't have to participate in that. You can continue to abstain as much as you can. And but there will be that draw. You think there won't be, but there will be like, you'll start to forget. You'll start to think, oh, I'm just going to go out to this restaurant tonight. And that's how it starts. And that's how it re-explodes, even if they do have it kind of under control.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to step on your words.
No, that you're absolutely right. Yeah, and I even see that with my own healthcare workers. Again, I'm not throwing anyone under the bus, but we get exhausted. We want to go out too. We want to go to the parks and go out to eat and do all this stuff. We don't want to wear a mask 12 hours a day. It's exhausting, but you just have to remember there are other people out there, and it can get worse if people get lax. So
yeah.
Do you think this is going to be something that's going to be coming back every year, like the flu? Some people are saying that might be the case, where it'll just become like a seasonal.
I don't know. That's a good question. I think it's going to be around for at least a year, but I don't know if it'll be a recurring thing or not. Right now, it seems like there's a lot of mixed evidence on whether if you've been infected, you can get reinfected, as far as antibodies and all that stuff. So that's going to have to be something we'll have to like kind of wait and see how it plays out.
Well, something, a bit of hope in that field, I think, is, so this is like, and you would know more about this than me, Mark. From what I understand, this is a strain, just like SARS. All of these are corona. Like all these mega flus or mega bugs that have been coming out over the past decade or whatever are they're all
describes
corona.
Like the shape of the.
Yeah, I think so. Like a circle.
Phenotype or whatever the hell.
And COVID-19. Yeah.
It's a very scientific analysis.
Oh, this is a circle.
It's a circle.
I wish they called it circle virus. That's what the C in COVID is.
Yeah.
But we don't really hear much about SARS anymore. It still exists, but it didn't become like a regular flu thing around the world. So that's my hopes. I don't know if you've got any more background on that, but that's what I'm hoping for, that it can more or less go away eventually.
It'll depend, I think, on vaccines and treatment options. I will say that just in the past month, like for instance, my COVID-19 test took 5 or 6 days. We're testing people in the ER and getting it back in hours. So I think we're making progress. It's just gonna, it might take some time.
It's still new. I mean, it's still only been about 2 months, really, 2 or 3 months. Yeah. So it's still just all up in the air, I guess. So like, as far as, widening things out a little bit, I mean, do you have any commentary on the workers movement that's happening right now? Like, especially today, this whole stream today has been about the May Day. There've been a massive wave of strikes with like Amazon and Whole Foods, Shipt, Instacart. A lot of these different companies are having these strike waves. Do you have any commentary on that, or is that kind of outside of your, concern right now? Or
no. I just want to say, as a healthcare worker, fully support all of that. As much as I feel like we're suffering in some ways as far as healthcare workers, like I had mentioned before, not getting adequately compensated, maybe some poor PPE, and not really any accountability as far as keeping track of the number of us that are getting sick. And I wanted to mention this as well real quick. They're not letting people know anymore when they come in contact with COVID patients. And I think that's frustrating as an employee. We would like to know if we've been exposed. Like, I think that's fair. But again, hey.
They mean they're not.
Okay, sorry.
No, I'm sorry. They're not telling you that.
Yeah,
that
it's a
you're
major
treating.
So
I know
if you
Amazon
have
employees,
an
for instance.
now they're not contacting you anymore,
God.
unless it's under a very specific set of circumstances that I'm not even sure about. Because I can tell you that my first day back to work, after having COVID, I was in a room with a patient who tested positive for COVID. No one ever called me to let me know that I'd been exposed. So I have my own reasoning why I think that's happening. I think it has something to do with unemployment benefits, not unemployment benefits, but more like a workers' comp cases. Can't prove you got it at work, and you really file for workers' comp. I don't know. I think that's worth considering.
Right.
Oh no, I mean, they're all bastards. That wouldn't surprise me at all. No.
Yeah. So, but anyway, getting back to your bigger question, absolutely, like complete solidarity with those guys. I'm lucky, like as a healthcare worker, I am lucky that I have the kind of support that I do, even with the problems I already mentioned. But they're struggling out there. I can only imagine what it's like to not have your voice heard and your needs for safety met. So absolute solidarity with those guys and wish them the best.
Very good to hear. And I'm sure they appreciate hearing that as well. We do need to have solidarity. I mean, one thing that I think about all the time is how, because I've seen a lot of nurses that are in like New York and Michigan and places where it's a lot worse. They're like on media reports and stuff, and just like heartbroken and on the verge of like mental collapse. It looks like, because they've been going through so much trauma in those situations, and it's like that's a situation, and a lot of it has to do with like bad work conditions, and it's like. That's a horrible situation, because it's like they have to try to do this calculus of like, is it better for me to go on strike to try to protect my patients because we're not getting the PPE we need and it's putting them at risk? Or is it better for me to keep working even though I might be exposing them to like, that's a horrible kind of a situation to put somebody in, and to force them to try to make a decision like that. I think that's really disgusting. So I just want to express solidarity. I'm glad that you're in a place where it's not that bad, but you never, as far as that goes, healthcare workers shouldn't ever be put in a situation where they should have to even contemplate that kind of calculus of whether to strike or not and that sort of thing. So we can do, as kind of like lay people or just like regular folks to support healthcare workers. Is there anything that you need where you are, or is there anything that just generally speaking that you know of that where we could like donate or send in materials that are needed or anything like that?
I don't know. I might have to get back to you on that. Okay. I'd say again, like as far as like actions, like I said, practice empathy, wear your masks, going out, don't wear gloves. I just want to put that out there. Don't bring your gloves from home. There's a lot of that. You're just infecting everything you touch with everything else you've touched. So don't do that.
Explain that. I don't understand that. I mean, I've never worn gloves or seen people wear gloves in Vietnam, but like, what's happening with that? I had.
So I'm seeing people come into the emergency room or out and about wearing, nitrile gloves, or just any kind of gloves, and that's not helping.
Really?
In the healthcare industry, we wear gloves for one thing, and we take them off, throw them away, we get a fresh set. These people are wearing gloves everywhere, and everything they touch is, they're just spreading everything around. So
the gloves only work one time.
Yeah,
and everyone has this false sense of security. I'm wearing gloves, so I can just.
Yeah.
So just wash your hands, right?
Yeah, wash your hands. Yeah, 20 to 30 seconds. Warm water and soap. Like that's better than any glove.
Yeah.
And then I would say right now, like don't really go out unless you really have to. And again, it varies by state to state, but I think it's better to play it safe right now when we don't really seem to have it under control yet.
And if you need a song to sing, to make sure you get the 30 seconds, the chorus to Solidarity Forever works actually quite well. Also, Do You Hear the People Sing from Les Mis also works.
And make sure you sing it at the top of your lungs every time.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Especially like a public bathroom.
Inspire class consciousness wherever you go. Hygienic.
That's how you start building. If you're in like a public bathroom, you start singing Solidarity Forever, and then like another person beside you joins in.
Yeah.
Then you
you found a
that's when we're close to. That's revolution time. Revolution time. What do you think about? I mean, like, I don't know. Do you, first of all, do you have like any kind of time constraint? I don't want to like, I have like a million questions,
that's
so I don't
good.
want to keep you here.
I've got a little more time.
Okay. Do you think that I'm going to start getting a little bit more like left field and stuff now because I think
Sure.
I've got some
What
other
do we
questions.
got?
Okay.
I can-
Do you feel
I
like
have a-
universal health care would be something that would be beneficial right now if we had that? If like anyone could just go to the doctor for free? I mean, in a sense, I mean, Vietnam doesn't have universal health care, but as far as COVID-19 goes, they are universally treating every single person who has it for free, like in a hospital environment. Do you think that that's like how vital would that be? Do you think we could get by without it, or like what's your perception on that?
I think that would be essential. I'll be honest with you. That would be essential. Even in my inability to tell you whether or not the COVID-19 test is free, I think it indicates a problem because we don't have a uniform response to this. Every state, and then within every state, every county is doing their own thing, and it doesn't feel like, if I'm in a different state, I might get, there might be different protocols, and I think having a universal healthcare system would definitely help. And one thing that doesn't get mentioned a lot, that I've just something I can kind of elaborate on from my own experience is with the COVID-19, a lot of patients are staying at home and not coming in and seeking treatment because they are concerned about getting the virus. So then they come in and they're even more sick than they would have been had they come in earlier. And that's just on top of not having been seen before because of how expensive healthcare is. And yes.
What's because we have universal. Sorry, the delay.
Sorry.
Disappointing given the situation we're in. We have Trekkie69 joining us now, perhaps with a bullet, or perhaps just to say hello.
not
Hello,
necessarily.
Hey.
Oh, did you come in? Did Trekkie accidentally come in?
Hello, what's up?
Hi.
How you doing?
Good day.
I'm doing well. I'm waiting for 2 more comrades to come on.
Cool.
So yeah.
Well,
We'll open it up a little because I thought some other folks might have questions for Mark as well since we're nearing the end of it. But and also Mark, if you get tired or you need to go or whatever, just let us know. But yeah, I thought I'd open the panel a little bit more since
while we're pulling people in, I wanted to ask Mark one more question.
Hello.
Hi.
Go for it. Hello.
What is so like here we have universal or national insurance, so basically the same as universal healthcare, but I have not gone to the doctor for anything, and I'm not in any particular need of it, in months. So I'm wondering what's the kind of like the day-to-day usual patient influx? What's that been like? Has it basically gone down? Because I've just been like, I don't want to go somewhere where there might be a conglomeration of sick people, and B, I just don't want to overburden them. So what's that like? Are there still a lot of, is basically the whole system, the whole hospital focusing on COVID? Or are there still most of, or parts of in the different professions still doing their day-to-day life or day-to-day work?
So we have stopped, when last I checked, we have stopped doing elective surgeries, so they have been talking about opening that back up, slowly on a case-by-case basis. As far as the ER goes, I feel like our patient census, the number of patients we see every day has gone down dramatically. In fact, I've never seen it as slow as it is. But we're seeing sicker patients.
Do you think you're seeing more sick people, or you just kind of weeded out the people who are going in for smaller cases of different things?
I do think. I think it's a mixture of the two.
Okay.
I think because of the way our healthcare system is in this country, people use the emergency room as a primary care, and I understand because it is so expensive to go to doctor's care or to find a physician. It's like the process is very challenging for a lot of people. So I understand the benefit of just coming to an emergency room because you can get all your tests done in one spot. You don't get, you still get charged for every separate thing.
I've been to the emergency room a few times. They charge you.
It's expensive.
Well,
But,
also, I would say a lot of people don't go get preventative help or early help until the point where they need an emergency room because they
that
can't
was my
afford it.
case. Yeah, when I was living in the USA.
If I'd avoided it at
you
all
don't go to the
costs
hospital
until
until
there
it's
was
an
no point.
emergency. That was the way I
Yeah.
was basically conditioned to exist. So it's tough. I mean, like, is there? I guess I don't know. I mean, I feel like that would be one of the more frustrating things about being in the healthcare industry is just the fact that you're having to like. Do you ever have? Are there ever situations where like people are having to make with the COVID-19 especially? Like, are people ever having to make decisions where they're like having to decide between spending money or getting proper treatment or taking proper actions or?
Oh yeah, that's the constant arithmetic when it comes to coming to the hospital. And only worse with COVID-19, I can imagine, because I'm not entirely sure that their ER visit is covered. I think maybe the testing itself is covered or the treatment options are covered, but I can't say with certainty that I feel like their hospital visit or if they get admitted to the hospital would be covered. So that and that's expensive. As for me, as a hospital employee that works in the emergency room, my copay is $200 to see the emergency room I work at, which is a lot for me.
Yeah.
And that's as like an employee of the hospital.
Yes.
Mhm.
Oh my god.
So
do you sometimes like when you're at work and you're just like hanging around and you see something you need to, like a syringe or like a test kit there for some other thing, you're just like
yeah.
Don't answer that because I don't
Neither confirm nor deny.
Yeah.
Neither confirm nor deny.
Are you talking to like your
I just
friend the
feel like being
doctor? You're like, hey,
like
by the
being a nurse
way,
would be like playing Doom or something. Like every time you see a med kit, you just like suck it up. It's like a first person shooter.
Get in the I'm waiting.
You're like in the lunchroom and you just happen to be bugging like the dermatologist about this weird rash you got or something.
Yeah, right. Helping
It's
each other
like
out.
it's like
On
when
the break room.
Jerry was trying to get the massage from his masseuse girlfriend.
Oh yeah,
it's like
it's like the break room healthcare system at the hospital. Real quick bulletin.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like a circle of healthcare workers just checking each other's moles and stuff.
Yeah.
We laugh because it's horrifying that we're in that situation.
Exactly.
Yeah. Gallows humor.
I want to
Yes.
EJ Breadbeard. By the way, nice to meet you, Mark. I'm Trekkie. Thank you for being awesome and doing what you're doing.
Thank you.
But I want to let Leslie, my new pet project. I'm just kidding. Comrade and new streamer who made a great video, and I wanted to introduce her to my friends.
Hi.
Hi, Leslie.
Welcome aboard.
Hello.
Nice to meet you.
Hey, breaking news. This is kind of big. I hate to say this, but I need to kick at least one person off because we just got a Chris Smalls on, and I really want to.
Oh wow.
Well,
Is there somebody that can volunteer?
I've been here a
I
while.
can go.
So.
Oh well.
Oh, Leslie.
I mean, everybody doesn't have to leave, but
Everybody's like, let's go. I'll go.
who's it gonna be?
Okay. Josh Strauss.
I'll go. Leslie.
Okay. Well, hey, Mark, thank you so much for joining us. If you have time later, maybe we can do another stream sometime soon. But get some rest. Thank you for joining us.
Yes.
And
thank you so much
Thank you. Guys.
for being on and for the work you've been doing.
I
please stay
appreciate it.
safe.
You guys
Take care.
stay safe. Wash your hands.
Wash your hands, everybody. Thank you for joining us and take care of yourself. Be safe. All right, here we go.
Mark.
I'm so excited to announce. I'm just going to bring Chris Smalls right on. Chris Smalls, hello, welcome.
Hey.
Hi, Chris Smalls.
Can you hear us?
Hello.
Hey, what's going on, y'all?
How you doing? You
I
are
just-
kind of
I
the
just
hero of
jumped
the
on
day.
Real quick to say, a couple words before I go to sleep. Man, I had a long day.
Yeah, I hear
But,
you. I hear you.
Oh, what happened? Am I still with you guys?
Oh, I put you. I put you in the spotlight. You said you want
Okay.
to.
Yeah, spotlight.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, this is new to me, but I like this. I like this platform right here. But
Yeah, it's
how's
good.
everybody feeling? What are we talking about here? We just
We're good. We're good.
having a
I mean,
conversation.
We've been talking for about 36. We've been doing a 36-hour stream now. We're just running into the end of it, but we've been it's a solidarity strike for striking workers
Can't
across
hear
the
him.
USA and around the world.
He's EJ, are you the host?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
hosting currently. Yeah.
Can't hear him. I think he was
You
saying
can't hear
something,
me?
but I couldn't hear him.
Uh-oh.
Oh,
Can everybody else
Can
hear
you
me?
hear any of us?
yeah, I
I
can hear you.
hear you.
I can hear everybody else except for EJ.
Oh, that's weird.
Oh, that's
okay,
weird.
let me refresh my browser because well, Redbeard, can you
That's
ask some questions
well,
while I
yeah.
refresh my browser and try to fix it? Okay.
Yeah, Chris.
I'm just gonna say,
yeah, go
I'll
ahead.
just say, you know, I thank you guys for supporting, and I think we should have a stream with I guess we can have an open dialogue about everything that's going on, so we can build some solidarity between the team that I have. I believe who invited me here?
I'm not sure.
Nora probably sent you the link, or maybe Amber from Genstrike,
Amber.
I'm guessing.
Yeah, well, I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm looking like, where is she? I guess she's not here.
I don't think Amber's
not
on
right
stream. Yeah.
Okay, so she invited me here. Okay, cool. Well, I guess I haven't met none of y'all here. No,
Yeah.
No,
No, we're-
pleasure to meet you, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, likewise.
yeah.
To introduce myself, I'm Wizard's Bread Book, leftist and nerd extraordinaire.
Okay. Nice to meet
Definitely.
you, brother.
Yeah.
Hey, well,
Well,
we're gonna have to. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say most of us are content creators for like leftist movements and worker solidarity.
And a bunch of us are also IWW members.
yeah, and
Okay.
IWW.
Gotcha. Okay.
And
Nice. All right. Well, hey, look, it's been a pleasure to meet y'all.
Yeah, likewise.
Likewise.
Do you have any?
Okay.
Do you have anything you want to tell folks out there, just in solidarity with the workers that are striking? I know you're tired and you probably want to run, get some rest. But is there anything you want to let people know before you take off there?
Can you hear?
I just want to say, hey,
Okay.
yeah, I can hear you. I just want to say, we started a revolution, and I hope you guys join. Everybody that's listening, everybody that's here. I think the more we expand, the more power we gain. So I want to
Absolutely.
continue to do that, and I'm glad to be here with you guys and meet you guys. I'm pretty sure Amber's going to be adamant about connecting us, and let's
Yeah.
stay in touch.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And solidarity, so
Yeah.
let's just continue to build this thing, man. I think it's a great thing that we got going right now. We got the momentum. The ball is in our
Yeah.
court. I think the people are behind my movement, behind what we're doing. We had a great historical day today with the protest we held. We formed a new alliance, and I think everybody has a part to play in this pandemic, and we got to stand up together and once again take the power back. And that being said, I'm gonna take it down. I had a very long day, and I know tomorrow the media's gonna be going to my phone all damn day and start.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I hear you. I
we
hear
got to
you.
do this again. We'll do it again soon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We'll,
You
we'll
guys
be
absolutely.
here
are-
waiting
guys
for
are
you.
more than welcome.
Yeah, you're
I
making
have
history, Chris.
conference calls tomorrow too.
Mm.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm about to say.
You're making history. You're
I'm about
doing
to say,
amazing
If
things.
you guys,
Yeah.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. I want to say, if you guys are more than welcome to join, my conference calls as well.
Okay.
I'll have Amber share that link with you guys. I think it will be tomorrow
good.
night, if my schedule allows me to. We'll have one tomorrow night sometime.
All right, I'd love to.
Awesome.
I'd love
Yeah,
to-
man,
that's-
it's a pleasure to
that's
meet
cool.
you. I'm gonna take off and
All right.
Damn, I wish I
absolutely, yes, and
It's great to meet you.
Yeah. Sleep well.
All right.
right.
Stay safe,
talk
Chris,
soon,
and get
though.
some rest.
We'll talk soon, y'all. Take care.
All
You
right,
take
solidarity.
care.
Take it easy.
Have a good one.
Absolutely.
Wow, that was exciting. That's
Oh, yeah.
cool. All right, well, I'm feeling like kind of starstruck right now. I actually, Breadbeard and I were talking the other day. I was telling Breadbeard, like, I wouldn't really give a shit about meeting like Tom Cruise
Yeah.
or like, any kind of celebrity, but like when you meet somebody who has been like on the front lines of a major strike like that or
Right.
something, that's when I get starstruck.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Chris Smalls has been doing amazing things.
Agreed.
And by the way, you're going to see, actually, I was just going to say before Chris hopped on, I was going to say that like the mainstream media is picking this up now. Nora actually sent me some images of like headlines on the Washington Post, CBS News, Guardian, NBC, New Republic. I mean, major mainstream media press did cover this today. And also, there's a lot of folks, like for instance, Amazon is specifically having like high level executive messages being sent around that have been leaked that are saying that like, they're like specifically trying to defame Chris. So you're going to see this stuff happen more and more, where they're going to start creating these like narratives and building this rhetoric up against people like Chris, who are on the front lines and leading the charge, so to speak.
And that's
So,
why we need to be here to back him and his comrades up
absolutely.
and say,
Yeah.
and say no. What the media is saying is utter bullshit.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
And also, I'll
Um,
say that like it is dangerous when they do that, but it also means you're doing something right. Like, why would they care
Mhm.
this much
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
it wasn't a threat to them?
Exactly.
Anyways, EJ, I thought you'd also be interested because I know you and I are neuroatypical or neurodivergent, and Leslie made a great video and was talking all about her experiences with disability, and I thought you might be interested in Breadbeard and Wizard. I'm sure.
Yeah. Look at
Absolutely.
you making all these connections, Trekkie69.
Yeah, I saw you talk. I think it was like right after I left, if unless it was somebody else, but I think I saw you talking, Leslie, right when I got off last night or something like that. And I listened for a few minutes. And you were talking about disability last night?
I don't think I was here last night. No, I wasn't here last night. I was just
Maybe that was
here
somebody else who had a purple
earlier.
avatar and was talking about disability.
Well, they
I'm
were
not
on-
sure. It might be-
I hope
They
somebody
were right
is.
before you took over, EJ. That might have been it.
Okay, that
Leslie
might be-
was-
I was here right
yeah.
before you took over.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. I'm not. I'm on a severe lack of sleep right now. Anyway, hey, we have another guest. Do we mind if we pop the new guest in and do that interview? And then we can close it out talking about whatever we want to. Is that cool?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's get a
We have
regular
another
Brady
Chris.
bunch going on here.
Hello, Chris. How are
Oh.
Hi,
you?
Chris.
Hello,
Another
hello.
Chris.
Yeah,
Awesome.
one black Chris for another black Chris.
That's not the way we planned it. That's not the way we planned it, but that is how it worked out.
We had to meet a quota.
No, welcome aboard.
Chris quota.
You're representing a few different organizations, correct?
Yes, yeah. I've been networking myself around, just trying to, get different people on the same page for this fight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the way to do it. You want to introduce yourself and your organizations?
Yeah. So my name's Chris. I'm a grocery store worker. I actually work at Trader Joe's, and I'm part of Trader Joe's Crew Members United. Just trying to start to, in partnership with the union coalition, excuse me, just like really represent Trader Joe's employees. I mean, we just had our second death this past week as a company, and it was a young dude, and it's really sad. And unfortunately, it just seems to be falling on, just not a whole lot of response just within the company. And I'm also working with Your Workers, My Family. I'm not sure if y'all heard about Yoli, but her mom did a wildcat strike with her healthcare home healthcare system. She worked with a nursing home, and basically arranged the impromptu stick out with her coworkers and like got PPE and a raise, just like by showing the power of the people. And then I'm also working here in St. Louis with Who Are We movement, just trying to give a voice to essential workers. Started with some grocery workers and then have kind of expanded from there. And then also working with St. Louis Mutual Aid, and they've got a vast connection of folks that I would be here the rest of the time if I told you about all of them. But yeah, just like hella excited to be here. And I honestly was not excited to be a part of the fight, but I got thrown into it one day at work, and here we are today.
Yeah.
Awesome.
No, first of all, I want to say amazing. It sounds like you're doing a lot of amazing things with a lot of amazing groups. So thank you for the service that you're providing. I also want to say that I've gotten emails from a lot of people who say kind of similar to what you just said, where it's like before the pandemic happened, I didn't know anything about unions. I wasn't interested in any of this stuff, but it kind of opened my eyes and showed me that, we do need to kind of stand up and fight for our rights. So, I'm glad that you made it aboard, because it sounds like you're doing a lot of excellent and effective work right now.
Yeah, doing what I can. My partner does work for NNOC, so have been very well versed in unions, and then kind of just supportive of the fight, as a support for the supporter. But we have been dealing with having both of us in the fight now, and kind of adjusting to that within our household, but understanding it's an adjustment needed to really save lives.
Yeah. Were there any actions today for May Day that took place with any of your groups?
Yeah. So here in St. Louis, we have our mayor, Lyda Cruson, had decided to evict a houseless encampment downtown in downtown St. Louis. And so last night I did an overnight watch just to make sure that, nothing happened before, the time posted. And thankfully nothing happened, because it was my first shift and I was not ready for things to pop off.
Right.
But so after that, got a few hours and then a few hours of sleep, and then got up and met up with some crew from Who Are We movement, and we went down to a Whole Foods, Trader Joe's, Target's, one of those big complexes, and stood catty corner and just held signs, just letting people know that we were there to support them, and also letting people know like what has actually happened. St. Louis is a little slow to the Corona game. In terms of acceptance. And unfortunately, we're going to have to accept it in some way, form very soon, and in an unprepared way, unfortunately. But, doing what we can to raise awareness. And then they went back to do some more tent mission work with the houseless, just to do, some more support watch. And then we did a little car caravan, which was very nice to end the day with some music, and had my pup in the back of my car, because everyone looks at a puppy in a car. So, a good way to get some attention, spread some good vibes, and some cheer.
Yeah.
So
that's what the revolution needs.
Pups for
Puppies
solidarity.
and cars.
Hey, yeah. For sure.
That is so. I was just gonna say that is so. Annoying is not even close to the right word. So evil that like you can even be evicted when you don't even have a home.
Right.
No. And the fact that they're focusing on that and using resources for that right now is disgusting. Like there's nothing that those people could be doing.
It's so gross.
That those cops could be doing that would be more useful. Like I've been saying, like, the cops should be out delivering food to old people and stuff right now. They shouldn't be going and busting up homeless camps. They should be bringing food to the homeless camps. Like, imagine how amazing that much manpower could be if we used it to actually help people. It's really disgusting to me.
Yeah, we know you guys you don't protect. You could at least do the serving.
Yeah, right. Jeez. Chris, what kind of things are you seeing with these grocery store workers that are that you're finding alarming and that kind of inspired you to take up this call?
Well, not seeing a lot.
Oh. Had a little glitch there.
I'm coming back.
Come back.
Okay.
We're back.
Oh, we're back.
We almost lost you to the robot void. Okay.
No,
maybe start over.
Hello, FBI. How are you?
I don't know. It could just be Comcast.
Could just be Comcast. That's right.
Same. Yeah. Actually not seeing a whole lot, which is why I've been so inspired to fight. A lot of these essential workers are people of color, and as you can tell, I am also a person of color. If you cannot tell because you're not looking, I am a Black queer person of color. So I'm very excited to be here to represent, the folks that are dying. And I went to Target the other day. Target's supposed to be having, masks for their employees, and they run out at 12:30. So if you start your work after 12:30, you don't get a mask. Like, not that the mask protect you, but shoot, like as a customer, that should make you mad.
Yeah.
Virus doesn't go away after 12:30.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Yeah, exactly.
Depending on the store, probably comes in faster. It's lunchtime. People are hungry. But yeah,
what can we do to support you? Like, what kind of stuff are you needing right now? Is there any place we can donate money, or is there any place that we can go to just give you any kind of support, signal boost,
Yeah, how do
anything
we,
like that?
we boost you? Signal boost.
I mean, I like I said, I work for, I'm working with Who Are We Moving. I'll drop all the stuff in the chat here, but really just if you could reach out to your local mutual aids, that is the biggest help you could do for anybody, because they give money directly to people in need, without any, no contingency with it. They get the money because they need it, or they get the resources because they need it. And if you have resources to offer, it's a great way to do it safely and to make sure that the resources that you are giving get to the people that you actually want to be taken care of. And so that's really what the Who Are We movement is about, is connecting all these people to make sure that, there is support for when we do want to take action. Like there are people who are there to take care of you, and that there are people who are there to support you and to give you the resources and to give you the love and the encouragement that you need for when shit gets tough, because it's tough all the time now. And we need each other to kind of push through this to get through that other side.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Are you having, I mean, like one thing that worries me, I mean, I guess just like, I don't know, maybe like, maybe I'm overprotective or whatever, but I worry about activists like you being exposed. I mean, I hope you're able to like maintain social distance and all that, even though you're having to go out in the community and help people. Is that something that you're worrying about, or?
It's something that my partner worries about for sure. I have, been very blessed to be able to be on leave from work, so I don't have to be out on the front lines. I am able to spend a lot of my time behind the computer, boosting other people's signals to, kind of make sure that, they can be protected. When I do go out, I make sure that I've got my mask on, and I honestly, I don't really go anywhere. I'm really good at quarantining. I'm quite the homebody. And thankfully the weather in St. Louis has been nice, and I've got a backyard to enjoy. But so personally, I am doing a fantastic job, but I know that there are other people who are doing more hands-on work than I am, and I can't speak to exactly what their experiences are or how to help them. But like I said, like mutual aid is a way to help everybody. So just keep on throwing those guys out there, because they, no one knows who the mutual people are. I mean, there's no face for them, but they're there, and that's the important part.
That's
what would you?
Oh, go ahead.
What would you, if you had like one thing for people that kind of are just the average workers, not really active in any way, to get active, just kind of an easy first step to start getting active? What would you say?
Just talk to somebody. Talk to your friend. Everybody's got somebody that you can bitch with at work. Everybody's got that person. And that's what you do is you figure out your common bitch points, and you say, "Oh man, this is shitty. Yeah, like how dare they not do this for us, or how dare they do that to us?" Like, yeah, like that's as simple as it gets. Because that person also has probably another person that they have a complaint session with, and then you can kind of figure it out. You do your social mapping. You figure out who in your store you can rely on, and then you kind of go from there. The Who Are We movement, we have some resources on our website, and then we have put together a toolkit for Trader Joe's Crew Members United as well. So definitely reach out to us if we can get you that information. But yeah, it's as simple as a conversation, and then right then you have protection from getting fired already, and you have a comrade on your side.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, yeah. We got a question from. I think this is a good question, and I've wondered this myself. So Emily in the chat said, "What can we do to make it easier on grocery store employees? When we're buying groceries, like what can we do to make your life easier, or how can we support you? Just in the act of getting our groceries, or do you have any advice along those lines?"
Don't go. No, I mean, just shop safely. There are some stores that are doing some things right. No one is doing everything right. When you do go into these stores, know that these employees are risking their lives. So like, they probably don't want to chit chat with you. Like if you really want to say thank you, just drop a 20 on the register and walk away.
There you go.
Drop it and walk away.
Put your money where your mouth is.
There you go. Like, don't argue with us. When we're protecting ourselves, we're protecting you. So it's community effort. Like if I'm unsafe, then you're unsafe. And that's the thing that we're trying to get people to understand is if us as workers are unsafe and we're dealing with you and we're dealing with your food and we're dealing with the things that go into your household, and then you take these things into your house and you have to disinfect yourself, and then you have to disinfect all these things. Like, are you worried about who's disinfecting me? Like, there are people behind all the decisions that we make that are affected. And so when you do make these decisions, think about the people who will be affected when you're leaving your house, when you go to do grocery store shopping, when you do your Instacart shopping. Like, if you are doing Instacart, like leave some extra hand sanitizer out to make sure like they've got something to take care of themselves, because there's no guarantee that these companies are giving their people things. They say they are, but there's no guarantee.
Yeah.
It's really distressing. We had another question from the chat. Louis Sarath says, and I think this is a good question for you, Chris, because it sounds like you're bringing a lot of energy to the table. Like, how do you break down the apathy and the attitude of like, it is what it is and things aren't going to change? Like, how do you make people realize that there is hope?
I mean, you got to be that hope for them, really. If you want other people to see that there is a potential to have change, show them that there are other people doing it. Tell people what it is that you are doing. Like, right now, we need to be bragging about our activism. We need to be bragging about the things that we are doing to help other people, because we need to be gassing each other up. We need to be elevating each other's voices so our fight gets bigger. Right now, it's hard because a lot of us feel like we're by ourselves. But like I said, it takes one conversation, and like some people don't have that voice at work, but you've got somebody that you can reach out to. You can reach out to me at the Who Are We movement. Right now, we're still on the level where we could be super personal. Like, we care about y'all, like, because we are you. We understand what it is that y'all are going through on a daily basis. And I personally understand coronavirus, just like as a person of color. My great aunt passed away from COVID because she was in a nursing home in New York and spent the last 2 weeks of her life alone. My sister has advanced lymphoma, is going through chemotherapy. Like, if she gets COVID, very good chance she's going to die. So like, there's so many levels to this disease that people don't see. And like, you really have to bring your voice to the table so that people understand that there's actual humanity to this virus. Like, this is ravaging my family. It's ravaging me. And once you see that there are other people who feel that same way, and you can kind of bring that empathy out of them, that's the way you get that hope, is you get them to see, like, shit, man, even though like all this stuff, like, it sucks. Yes, it sucks. But, I was able to find, like 10 minutes to like tweet 3 things, or call my senator, or do this, like, brag about it, tell people, because if we're doing all these things behind the scenes, nobody thinks we're working for them.
Yeah. No, that's for sure. Yeah. And I guess I'd like to hear more about your perspective about what's happening in the Black community and people, with people of color, because, one thing that really upsets me a lot is whenever I see kind of like comfortable, like upper middle class white people who are saying things like they're going to these rallies to like open up the economy, and they're saying like, just like go for herd immunity, and
I can't get my hair cut.
Yeah, that kind of stuff really annoys me.
Karen.
The people who are like getting really on the front lines of this stuff are by and large people of color. There are a lot of LGBTQ plus people who, there's a huge link between that and poverty and getting like starvation wages and that sort of thing. So can you help for people who are from,
there's a lot of disabled people doing it too.
Exactly. No, exactly. Right. So can you help for people who come from a more privileged background kind of get a better understanding of what's really happening in these communities that are not so privileged?
I'm gonna be honest, I come from a super privileged background. I mean, like I said, I'm able to be on leave right now. But a lot of my family isn't super privileged. It's just what it is just a lack of options. It's like everyone has choices, but it depends on what choices you have and what options you have to choose from. For, minority communities, for the disabled community, for people of color, for queer folks, like, every day, like, leaving the house or waking up is an extraordinary action. It is so huge that we are still alive and being ourselves. And it's just the weight to every decision that you make, even outside of COVID, is life and death. You know, if you go down the wrong street, if you have the wrong interaction with the wrong person, you could very well end up dead.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And
Right.
Yeah, definitely.
yeah, just understand that not everybody has the options to choose from that you did. Not everyone has the ability to go to the Capitol with a gun in hand and yell at people.
Oh, I wish I could do that.
Well,
You know,
We'd
not
probably
you know,
be on
like
something a little different.
exactly.
Yeah,
You know,
it'd be
not
for different-
not
different
everybody's
platform.
voices are being raised up, and
Mhm.
Yeah.
so ask yourselves, like, who aren't you hearing from? Because those are probably the people who are really fucking feeling it.
Mhm.
And not
Who
everyone's
aren't you
being
who aren't you hearing from? Because those are the people who really fucking matter.
Mhm.
and not everyone's being funded by corporations and Betsy DeVos and large benefactors to make those
We-
voices heard.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Or
have to
have that
signal boost each
protest
other. I've been saying
organized
that
on-
from the beginning.
Yep.
I've talked a lot, so I think I'm going to let the panel kind of take over and ask some questions. I'm going to go run and actually just grab a drink of water real quick. But yeah, definitely feel free to take over panel with the questions, and I'll be right back.
Yeah. Let me do a quick adjustment here. Chris, is there somewhere where we can find you on online? Anyone could check out what's not your personal, whatever you
Yeah.
keep what you want private, but
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how to share. I didn't sign up for it. Can I like private chat you and then y'all can put it in the live
there
chat?
should be a private chat at the top.
Yeah.
We can-
All right, I'll do that.
Or actually, we'll EJ is the only one with ability to actually put in comments for that, but I can put it in as myself. But on the official comment thing, yeah.
I actually can. I actually can do it, Redbeard, because
Who
I
isn't someone
have
special?
because I have the because well, it's because I was using Restream earlier as
Mhm.
part of the for my shift. So I'm gonna put it in the chat.
Well, I'm just putting in the chat as myself. But awesome. That's get that right. Who We Are movement and Kristen DeLu, is that Twitter?
It's
What is that?
Twitter and Instagram. So Who Are Me Movement.org is the organization that I'm working with primarily. And then Chris and Lou, that's just my personal handle for
All right,
IG
awesome.
and Twitter.
All right, cool.
And then through our website, you can find all our socials and just like a little bit about what we are all about.
What actions do you see going forward after today? Because that's what I'm personally, and I think a lot of people kind of trying to get active are afraid of, is this kind of like a one-time thing and now we're done, and then now you just go back to the way things were. So what do you have any specific plans, or what would you like people to do going forward from here?
Yeah, definitely.
As we're building.
I think the May Day was a fantastic rallying call for people to know that there are folks on their side, and now is the time to like jump into high gear and do the work and organize our workplaces, organize our communities, reach out to each other and take care of each other. There's the new call is for the first of each month, and so there's there's always somewhere to go within the next 30 days. We always have a target of things that we can do within these 30 days. And, with each passing strike that we call for, I just feel like we're just going to get more and more and more and more steam. And I think that, this is everybody's call to action to step up and, like I said, brag about what you're doing, tell people what you're doing, because if you're doing everything behind the scenes, nobody knows that you're fighting for them. Let people know that you are out there.
A bunch of people are forming a content creators union. DM me if you want info.
That was a touch loud.
But yeah, man, just now it's the time for everybody to figure out, like, is what's been happening okay? Like, am I really okay with it? Because if you're not, then like this is my call to you. Like, get the fuck up and do something. Like, all you gotta do is retweet it. Just retweet. It's as small as a retweet. just so that you can give it to somebody else so that they know what the fuck is going on. You know, brag it out and brag about each other. That's what I would love to see is, you know, how are people supposed to know what we're doing if we're not talking about it?
Oh yeah.
That's really solid advice.
Yeah.
Yep. I got a question in my chat that's asking, I personally don't think that this is a quantifiable answer, but it says, what do you think the outcome of these strikes will be at this rate? Like, what do you think, what kind of timeline? Personally, I don't think that's really quantifiable, and things are going to be changing
exactly,
and developing as we think. But what what are your thoughts on your hopes for like what and this isn't like full worker-owned entities by the end of next month or something, you know? But what's maybe some short-term goals you'd like to see? And short-term can be whatever length you want to say, a year, you know.
Yeah, I mean,
short-term, I mean long-term.
Yeah, short-term goals with long-term effects.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I would love to see more. I guess like the smaller cities just kind of rise up, because I feel like a lot of our rural areas are being a little bit overlooked. You know, right now the meatpacking industries are being ravaged, and you know, especially here in Missouri, like we've got one meatpacking industry that's linked to 300 cases alone. And you know, for a rural town in Missouri, that's a lot of people. That's a huge impact. And so just really, as we are gaining, you know, ground on, you know, on all of these people facing roles, such as grocery store workers, such as, you know, bankers, custodial staff, healthcare workers, I would like to make sure that we are not leaving behind, you know, our immigrants, you know, our undocumented folks who are actually out there doing the really, really, really hard work of getting us what we need on a daily basis. And so that is what I would love to see, is just to see, you know, our Tyson family that is out there being ravaged, to really be lifted up by the rest of the community. And because there are people of color in these rural areas, and we're not hearing about them because right now they don't think they have a voice. And so we need to really empower them. I would really love to see a big rural push within this next month, so that we can actually make noise. Because, you know, right now certain meat packing industries are shutting down, and the president is telling them, nah, y'all gotta keep working. And so if we can empower them to actually stop working, imagine just like the fallout that we could create.
Yeah.
How close people work in those meatpacking industries is every bit as dystopian as what happens to the animals.
Yeah.
For my job, I've had to like tour some of these places, and it's shoulder to shoulder with razor sharp knives, hacking away at like heads of cattle, fucking moving at a alarming speed.
I've definitely had to do similar work where I was having to tour and go in and do video and stuff. And funny enough, it was like these liberal charity organizations that were like promoting these chicken processing plants and turkey plants and stuff, which, by the way, a turkey plant that I've toured in South Carolina just had a new rare, I mean, hopefully it stays rare, deadly bird flu strain come out during this pandemic. So it's bad stuff. Chris, I hope you don't mind if I do a little business here, but we would love for you to, if you're not already working with us at genstrike.org, we get a lot of people who have questions about organizing in rural areas. And it sounds like you have some ideas and experience with that. So we'd love to talk to you more about maybe finding ways to partner with each other and stuff. So I hope we can talk offline about that.
Yeah, definitely. I can't say that I have a lot of experience, but I am hoping to gain some.
Yeah. Because I'm from South Carolina, and like, as far as like the rural situation goes, I know that there are a lot of still company towns left where there's like one factory and everyone for like miles and miles around all work at that same one factory. So that's a big kind of like gap, I think, with a lot of the practice that we have. We need to find ways to reach those rural workers.
Yeah, and I'm a California kid, so the rural areas are super unfamiliar for me, like in terms of the Midwest and the South. But like being here in St. Louis has just opened my eyes to so much about America, and not necessarily great things. I guess not open my eyes, but just reinforce some things that I was hoping weren't super true. But yeah, no, as a Californian, like, and as someone who has grown up relying on these folks to feed me on a daily basis, I personally have forgotten about them. And so I am taking it upon myself to make sure that they are not forgotten anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I would just a kind of a PSA for folks: stop using like rural stereotypes as a pejorative. Stop, especially Southerners. Stop. Oh, these hillbillies, they're all racist and all that. You're not winning anyone over that way. And I'm not even talking about, oh, I'm not trying to win over racists. You're not winning over a lot of good folk who are not.
Yeah.
Well, you're also ignoring a lot of people of color who live in the
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Exactly.
So,
Places like
can't-
Mississippi and states like Mississippi and Alabama have, I think, the largest as a percent of the population, Black population. So, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, because in South Carolina, they have a place called the Corridor of Shame. And I spent a lot of time there, actually. This is a place where it's still to this day very bad. But like, like there's like a lot of people have no running water. A lot of people have like very sporadic access to electricity. And a lot of those people are people of color. Not all of them are. It's a pretty broad mix of people actually that are suffering in those areas. So let's try to remember that these are human beings.
Don't be so elitist.
I'm from more of a suburban background. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Let's see. Actually, we're coming close. We got about 10, 15 minutes left before the stream ends. I will really quickly, if nobody minds, I'm going to go ahead and say, please, we are doing this fundraiser for benefiting Feeding America, and we are pretty close to the goal. It is conceivable that we could make it to the goal. So if you have a couple of bucks, now is the time to dig deep. I'll share that link in the description. This is a huge network of food banks. It's we already talked to one comrade who's working in Chicago that has a food bank there that's been very vital, that gets a lot of its resources from Feeding America. So if you have a couple of dollars, please contribute to our fundraiser. It'd be awesome if we could hit that $1,000 goal. We still have 10, 15, 20 minutes left. If we start getting closer, we might extend a little bit, but that's just something I wanted to throw out there. We'll go back to the panel now. I'm going to look for that link while other people talk. So someone else talk.
No, I think it's super important to, recognize that we need to be organizing, not just, in the quote unquote liberal states, and not just in the quote unquote red states, and not just in the United States, but in the entire world. And we can't, just because historically the South has been the most hostile towards unions, doesn't mean jack. We need to be trying to union, because the way I see it, our best way to affect change now isn't to rely upon fucking Joe Biden. The man is going to do jack shit for laborers, for workers, for what we really need to be focusing on is individual people trying their best, if you can, to unionize. If we're talking about things like seeing immediate or semi-immediate change in people's lives and radicalizing people, there's nothing more radicalizing than forming a union. And then if you are lucky, because let's be realistic, it takes a broad deal of luck, actually able to unionize your workplace. And I think we should be, paying more attention to that. And if you have, an extra $5, $10, $15, join the IWW. Just paying dues is praxis.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Joining an organization is a very good first step.
Yeah. Join one of Chris's organizations. If you're and by the way, Chris, I also know some other folks in Missouri who have other orgs. So we definitely need to talk when we get offline about.
I have a question though. Like, what about because I'm unemployed and I'm not really employable with my disability. So it feels a lot of times like I'm sort of excluded and on the fringes of a lot of like labor discussions and things
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
But so it's like, does anybody here know where to point, people like me, like as far as
There are
activism?
definitely disability unions. I don't know of any national ones and again, this is a gap in my knowledge and self-crit. I probably do need to know a lot more about these things. I have like disability issues myself. I'm not unemployable, but I do have, I should learn about my community more.
Right.
But there are disability unions. I know that Snapple and
Hey,
Cats is a
EJ,
YouTuber
we're
who
over the
talks about this
goal,
stuff a lot.
by the way.
We got over the goal? Amazing.
Hey.
Wow. All right, let's take a second. Let's put a pin in that.
We will absolutely come back.
Sorry, Leslie, the IWW can join regardless of dues. And
Okay.
I'm pretty damn sure I'm unemployable is a valid reason. And if you need any help with that, please DM me.
Yeah.
There are groups like the DSA too, but here's the thing. I don't know. I feel like you're right, Leslie, that we need to do more. And one thing that I kind of push for, and maybe it's something that maybe you and I could talk about this or something, but like I believe in something that's called a secondary power structure, which would be like a power structure within an existing group that's for a group of people who are kind of marginalized. And I think that, like, for instance, I don't know if maybe one already exists, but like if there's not already a disability caucus in the DSA, for instance, that's something that I think we should talk about building. Same with IWW. If there's not already a specific chapter that focuses on disability issues in the IWW, that's something where we should build something like that. So as I have a gap in my knowledge there, but that's I think a solution would be to build these kind of secondary power structures where people with disabilities can come together and have a voice within an organization, because otherwise they can get, it's very easy for people to get ignored or kind of pushed aside if they're not connected together with some kind of solidarity. So
Exactly.
I think it's a good point. It's
A great activist for disabilities is Snapple and Cats, who has a YouTube channel.
Yeah, I've
and
been
they
trying-
are.
They wanted to. She really wanted to come on stream, but personal issues got in the way. So
I talked with her earlier today. They are also the disability enthusiast on Twitter. I think we're going to schedule a personal interview after the stream sometime this week. But I think getting in touch with her, she's very active. She probably knows some.
Yeah, I followed the disability
Awesome.
enthusiast. And Imani Barbarin, I don't know if you know of her. She's Crutches and Spice. She does a lot of.
I don't know that one.
Yeah, she's another really popular disabled Twitter account.
It's definitely something we need to address more. I mean, I try to address it, but there's definitely a lot more that we can do. So I think that's a good question and something we need to
you
keep
should
dialoguing on.
EJ, if you want, I can help you organize a slowdown panel with a bunch of us neuroatypical disabled peeps.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we should
that'd
do
be
that.
great.
We should.
That's a really solid group of Twitch creators who cover that stuff.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
Here's the deal. So folks, the official GenStrike 2020 stream is set to end basically in about 5 minutes here. We can keep the party going. We on Trekkie 69 is going to keep streaming. I don't know if anybody else is going to keep streaming, but I actually I have some scheduled stuff that I have to run and do. I want to give everybody an opportunity to talk before we go, so we're not leaving like immediately. Don't go yet. But I just want to make sure we have a plan. If you want to keep talking, I think going into Trekkie 69 stream is the way to do that. Are you going to be doing that on Discord, or how are you going to be doing that?
I'm going to be doing it via Discord.
Okay, so if you're all in the Discord server, so when we do the handoff, just go into the Discord server and join the voice chat there.
Actually, I'm going to be doing it on my Discord.
Okay. Yeah, share the link then.
I just shared a link in the private chat.
Okay, awesome.
Sneaky.
Cool. All right, I just want to do that housekeeping really quick. But now I'm going to give everybody an opportunity just to talk real quick. We'll go clockwise because then we can end with Chris. So I'll just say really quickly, I'm American Johnson. I have a YouTube channel and a Twitch channel at YouTube and Twitch/non-compete. I am honored to be in the company of the people we're talking to right now and all the other people that we spoke to today. I'm very, very, very honored that we hit our goal. Of course, it's not too late to donate if you still want to contribute to Feeding America. They still do need a lot more money than just the $1,000 we raised. But hey, look at that. We hit our goal right in the last minute there. I will let everybody talk, but we haven't read donations in a long time, and I want to read the last few donations we got. So I'm going to read those real quick if everybody doesn't mind. I'm going to go back to, right here. We'll run through them. Okay. Alex W. Made a big donation last night for $50, and I just want to say thank you again. Said, keep up the good work, folks. Jonathan, thank you for the $20. Xander Gnome, thank you. Said, I'd like to thank you all for making me feel less crazy here in Alberta, Canada. Old Gringo, big supporter of my stream, said, just a few Copex comrades. Andrew, thank you. A bunch of anonymous people, thank you to all of you. One of them said, hashtag General Strike 2020. Broken Bit said, EJ, install an ad blocker for the love of God. I probably should do that.
I think that was
Anonymous,
from last night with the tops.
Yeah, with our spinning tops. That's an inside joke. Anonymous said, I've seen about 4 people dumpster dive in the last 3 weeks, and this shouldn't be. And I absolutely agree. That's terrible to hear. Sterling said, can't beat Nora. Nora is a member of our Gen Strike team, a vital member of our Gen Strike team. Said, can't beat Nora, but we can beat capitalism. I agree. Cakebot, thank you so much for the $20. Said, solidarity to all people struggling to even get a hold of food. A lot of recurring themes here. Delve's a big supporter of my stream at YouTube. Said, oops, I did it again. I donated to a workers' cause. Hashtag go to genstrike.org and get involved. Thank you very much. That's a great message. Anonymous, thank you. Comrade Datami, thank you. I've seen your name in a lot of these fundraisers. Thank you. William Littrell, thank you. Louisa Ruth, you've been supporting us through a lot of the stream. Thank you. And said that donated $42, the meaning of life, the universe, and everything, and said GF bread for WY, I guess that's Wyoming. Yeah, bread for Wyoming, please. Unless I'm misinterpreting that. Franglish 9265, thank you. Comedian WW, part of Gen Strike, big part of the web dev team. Thank you. Said the war is never won in a single battle. Comedian WW also makes great videos at the Gen Strike YouTube channel, so make sure you check that out. Nora, the one and only Nora, donating $69.69 and saying,
yeah.
fuck you, Amber, heart. So we love Nora and Amber. Kiersey, thank you. Wizard's Bread Book, who, hey, look, we know Wizard's Bread Book.
Hey, I'm here.
Coming in with a monumental $50. Thank you, Wizard's Bread Book. That's very, very generous. Ryan everyone, by the way, well, Wizard's Bread Book, everyone pay close attention when Wizard's Bread Book shares links and stuff later. So make sure you subscribe. Ryan France, thank you. Natalie Pandora, thank you for the $42. Anonymous, thank you for the $50. Jillian S, $50 says, we're in the home stretch, almost done here, but I'm excited. We're the first ones to starve. We're the first ones to die. The first ones in line for that pie in the sky. Wow. Love that, Jillian. Thank you so much. Very generous. Netharia, thank you for $20. And Shistara, thank you for the 420 and the heart in ASCII symbols. You're all amazing. You've done amazing things here. We've raised $1,000. Never let it be said that leftists are stingy. We are a very generous group of people. So anyway, that's what I had to say. And I think I took a long time to say it. So I'm going to let everyone else share your parting words and share your social media and all that kind of stuff so people can find you. So Breadbeard, why don't you take it next?
Well, if you're going to take up your personal shout out time to promote all the great people that have been helping us out, then that's a pretty good use of your time. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm Breadbeard. I have a YouTube channel, Soft Boys Social Club, youtube.com/C/Soft Boys Social Club. Don't ask me why there's a C. I didn't have a choice. And I just went black. I mostly talk about marrying compassion with revolution. You can have both. Bet you didn't know that. And yeah, I'm also a member of genstrike.org. Please contact us if you need help, if you want to get active, or if you want to help us helping other people get active, or do all of that. And that's about all I have to say.
Fantastic.
So it's on you, Trekkie. Trekkie?
Oh,
Trekkie,
fuck.
there, comrade.
Sorry.
I thought you were being really dramatic. I was
sorry. I was
towards the mic.
I just I was reading my Twitch chat. Speaking of which, Trekkie69, Jewish, anarchist, neurodivergent, non-binary, diversity hire extraordinaire. I stream at twitch.tv/Trekkie69. And I want to say thank you to everyone who donated. If you can, if you have any more money left over, please join the IWW. Just paying dues is praxis. And if you are unemployed, especially due to layoffs from COVID, contact the IWW. They are suspending dues for unemployed people, and especially those affected by COVID-19. And I know at the very least one branch, my own, shout out Northern New Jersey, we just recently got officially chartered, is setting up unemployed councils. So, and if you want to help those unemployed councils and pay for other people's dues, again, it can be as little as $6 a month. And Comrade and I are working on making a how to join the IWW video. So EJ shills for other people. I do a tiny show for myself, and then I shill for my union because I could not possibly be prouder of the work we do and have done.
Vivats, very, very good. Thank you, Trekkie. And the party will be continuing on Trekkie's channel, as we've said a few times here. Leslie, I'm sorry we didn't get to talk for very long. I hope we can have another stream in the future where we can talk longer, but you want to let us know where we can find you and any parting words you have for folks?
Yeah. I am very new to everything. I have one video on my YouTube, and that's, if you just search Leslie XP. I do not have enough subscribers to have a custom URL, so I cannot tell you my URL.
Let's work on that. Let's help Leslie get a custom URL, folks. Come on, I'm gonna subscribe right now. Give us that URL one more time.
Next charity stream, get me a custom URL. Yeah,
drop the link in private, and I can put some.
Yeah. Drop it in private. I'll share it out everywhere.
Yeah. So yeah, I've got one video there, and I'm planning on making a lot more. And my Twitter is at @LExploitable. It was less exploitable, but then that was too long, and that's a term that I enjoyed from the work Capitalism and Disability by Marta Russell. I've appropriated that term to mean people like me who are disabled and therefore less exploitable by the workforce. So yeah, I don't really have anything else to shill. I'm pretty new. If you go to my Twitter, you can see all these other people that I follow who are really awesome. I guess we're just still working on building a good leftist disabled community, I feel like. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Did you drop your Twitter?
Oh, I didn't hear you. What did you say, Redbeard?
I was just saying, did you drop your Twitter? I didn't hear that.
Oh, let me drop my Twitter.
Oh yeah, I'll throw that in the chat too. Yeah, I hope we can have a longer conversation in the future, Leslie. There's a lot of ground we can cover, I think, and it sounds like you got some interesting perspective this year. Wizard's Bread Book. Everyone pay close attention to Wizard's Bread Book. Remember what I said earlier.
You don't have to do that. I'm Wizard's Bread Book. I am just a chill nerd, and I do a lot of D&D streams, other games, better tabletop role-playing games, and we do that on my Twitch channel, Twitch TV/Wizard's Bread Book, and on YouTube at Communes and Comrades. And the idea is to get a bunch of leftist streamers together, playing tabletop games in a fun space where we don't have to worry about any chuds. And we can also raise each other by audience cross-platforming, or excuse me, audience cross-pollination.
Great stuff, and fun stuff. A fun way to have some camaraderie is the way I'd like to pitch that. Great, okay, and Chris, you're a very patient person. Thank you very much for waiting till the last. But I wanted to make sure you got the final word as far as pitching and all that goes.
Super appreciate it. Just want to say I already have subscribed to Leslie's channel, so y'all need to get on board.
There you go.
You beat me.
We're that much closer, Leslie.
Well, I subbed over a week ago.
Not a competition.
I know.
But it is though.
Only when I But yeah, anyway, so I'm Chris. I'm with the Who Are We movement. I'm also with Your Workers, My Family, and Trader Joe's Crew Members United. My primary organization is Who Are We movement, just working on behalf of the working class, just giving us a voice, letting us know that we are empowered to save our own lives. If you want to get involved, like holler at me. I think they put my handle in the chat. It's Chris in the Lou, ChrisInLou, because I'm a Cali kid at heart, but I'm stuck in St. Louis. But yeah, like everyone can get involved. Like I said, yesterday I was a grocery store worker, and here I am talking to the people. So like we all are ready to get involved. Let's elevate each other's voices in this fight, because we need each other to win. And also plug into your mutual aid, your local mutual aid. Google it, figure it out, find out how y'all can help each other in your own communities. Again, mutual aid.
And a little clarification for anyone, because I did this right when you first came on and said your org. If you put "Who Are We" movement in quotations, otherwise you're going to get a question. The search engine is going to think you're asking who are the We movement, which is some other different movement.
I just put whoarewemovement.org. I think is the way to.
Oh, is that the site? Okay.
Yeah. Whoarewemovement.org. That is correct.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the way to do it. Well, that's fantastic. Can you spell your Twitter handle one more time so I can type it in the chat?
Yeah, ChrisInLou.
As my stream just saw, I followed you on Twitch, and I'm definitely going to DM you, Chris, because I want you to come on my channel and talk as long as you want about all the awesomeness that you're doing.
All right.
It's definitely inspiring stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, so listen, this has been an amazing stream. I consider it a full success. We had a lot of workers strike today. We had a lot of activists like Chris out there demonstrating, car caravanning. Lots of amazing things happened today, and we hit our goal of raising $1,000 for Feeding America. So, quick round of applause for everybody, for ourselves, for our comrades, for everybody.
Round for the chat, for all of you people out there who meet the goal.
The audience is always a major part of these things. You've been out there sharing the links. You've been doing it all for us. So we definitely couldn't be here without you. And I'll say the work is not even close to. We just took the first step today. So for gemstrike.org, for a lot of organizations, we're going to continue doing this on the first of every month indefinitely. We're going to keep striking. We're going to keep having tenant strikes. There's so much more that needs to be done. We're just getting started, but we had a good first step, I think. So cautious optimism, but don't stop fighting now. And so now everybody, we're going to move to Trekkie's channel. I am going to give everyone the option. I know not everybody's into this, but my channel is begging me, my chat and my channel is begging me for us to do a round of Solidarity Forever. So if anybody wants to sing that to close it out, you're welcome to. If you'd rather just hop on over to Trekkie's voice chat and pass on the song, that's fine too.
I will
I'm going to be singing it. I just need to get the lyrics right now.
Yeah, we're just doing the chorus.
Yeah, I'm
right?
looking. I think we need to find the same.
Chorus?
We'll just do the chorus. I don't want to push my luck with folks.
Let's
EJ,
do the. You're welcome to sing "Solidarity Forever" on my stream anytime.
The
full version.
We'll do the first verse and the chorus, and then we'll close the stream and raid into Trickies. So I will go ahead and paste the lyrics in the private chat here, and let's do it. Okay, if you don't know the words or if you don't want to sing, you don't have to. But this will be the end. So. When the union's inspiration through the workers' blood shall run, there can be no power greater anywhere beneath the sun. Yet what force on earth is weaker than the feeble force of one? But the union makes us strong. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. For the union makes us strong. For the union makes us strong.
But
not a single one of us is drunk from what I understand, but that sounded like the most drunk version of Solidarity.
EJ, I have never streamed while not high. Thank you, medical marijuana.
Yeah, that's the correct way to do it, you guys. Wow.
Fair enough. Well, if you want to see more of these kinds of shenanigans, but possibly no more singing, I don't know. You never know what's going to happen with these kinds of leftist parties. But
there will be more singing.
I mean, I do Twitch sings on my stream, so I mean, I can't right now because it's 12:14, and the whole of the house except for me is asleep. So like I can't sing, but
One day, soon. Well, thank you for joining us, everybody. Again, don't stop now. Join us at genstrike.org. Go to the social media links of all the people that we've been talking to. Go to I can't talk right now. Go to whoarewemovement.org. Support striking workers. Don't cross picket lines. Thank you for joining us. I'm going to raid into Trekkie now on my channel and on the Gen Strike channel. So if you're on Twitch, just sit back and relax and keep watching. If you're not on Twitch, you can always go over to twitch.tv/Trekkie69 and keep having fun. But I'm going to say goodbye now. And I want to say one last time, thank you to everybody. You've all been amazing. Take care of each other, stay safe, and solidarity forever.